What's up, you guys? It's Noxie, and welcome back to the Project Manga podcast. You might be wondering, why is it just him? Well, for the first 5 to 7 minutes of the conversation that we had the other day, OBS just wasn't recording audio. I don't know what happened there, but I wanted to hop into the front of the episode and give some kind of, introduction to the topic that we'll be discussing tonight. And we have a couple things that we wanted to say anyway. First and foremost, Happy New Year. We hope your New Year's Eves were safe yet eventful. Also, happy birthday, Eiichiro Oda. The god has turned 45. So we wanted to give you guys a bonus tie-in episode. Usually we would be reviewing Jump with this episode, but it's on break. So we wanted to give a little extra tie-in topic for you guys. And what better one than just everything we love about One Piece? You know what I mean? In regards to our opinions on it, from favorite story arcs to favorite characters, favorite moments, slept on moments, underrated moments, things like that. Just as much One Piece appreciation as we can pack into about an hour and a half. So that's how we wanted to kick off the new year. Couldn't think of a better way to. And then enjoy the episode. We'll have another tie-in episode out this Friday, and then we'll be back on Jump Monday, I think, is when the new chapters come out. But all right, see you guys. I feel like we should start the conversation off with, a quick little discussion or a quick conversation about how we all got into One Piece, because I feel like that story is different for all three of us. I think we all are coming out of the 4Kids dub. Was the first experience that we ever had with One Piece, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, it's not for you.
Good for you.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I am very happy about that, because
mine was 05. That's
looking back at the 4Kids dub and how it severely crippled One Piece's bridging over into the United States.
Yeah.
I want to hit somebody in the head with a fucking brick.
Right? Isn't that so infuriating?
Who was in charge?
I was just saying, what's worse? You should have seen some of the shit, when Hell Meppo held a gun to fucking
the hammer gun. I've
the
seen
hammer.
it.
There's just so many funny fucking things, dude. It's so fucked
The Marines
up.
have the Marines have super soakers and shit. They have squirt guns. I'm pretty sure I remember.
It's sad.
Yeah, dude, it's real bad. But why don't you go first, Ego? Why don't you tell us?
Sanji's got a lollipop.
Yeah, Sanji's got a lollipop. Yeah, for sure.
Mine is I don't know. It was a few, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago at this point. God, that's a long time.
That is a long time. Yeah.
I was living up in Coon Rapids with my cousin Jack and my brother Nick, and they would always just tell me yeah, bro, you gotta watch One Piece. You gotta watch One Piece, bro. Because I was heavy into Naruto at that point.
Jack was always the one that was yelling at people to watch or read One Piece and was never current a day in his life.
I'm sure he's current in anime, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But and this is why I want to smack people whenever they use these arguments, because I was literally I was heavy into Naruto, but they would tell me to watch One Piece and I'd be like, nah man, it looks too weird and it's too long. And they're like, oh bro, you blah, blah. Same arguments that we all use. You got to just get into it because it's fucking great and you're gonna enjoy it once you get into it.
Yeah.
But I'm just nah, it's too weird, too long. One day I just started it from fucking episode 1.
Just on a
Never
whim?
seen,
You just decided
I'd
to
seen
do
a couple moments that Jack showed me, the elephant gun on the
oh damn.
Kraken.
Oh, so you saw that first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
But that was just a moment he showed me.
Yeah.
He was like, look at this, bro. And
That's not too bad.
started it from episode 1, and I fucking loved it. Just fucking binged the fuck out of it till episode, I don't even know what was I think it was Dressrosa was the current arc when I was watching.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Because it took so long to get current. It's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
that too, that shit is 700 episodes to get to fucking Dressrosa. I think maybe 6 something for Dressrosa.
So that's why whenever anybody's like, "Yo, it's too long, it's too weird," I'm like, "Shut the fuck up and watch it, you son of a bitch!" Because I've been in your fucking shoes and I know.
Everybody,
right? I still love One Piece.
Yeah, I feel like
so. Watch the fucking goddamn show.
Yeah, everybody that complains about it like that, it's like once you sit down and do it though, like you're gonna get to a point where you don't care about how long it is, and actually you're going to want it to be longer so that you don't catch up and have to wait week to week. Like it's one of the most depressing but like satisfying feelings that I've ever had catching up to One Piece. You know what I mean? More so than any other series. It's just like I can't just binge like it's so nostalgic, like sitting down and just binging reading it or watching it.
I saw 4Kids dub on Toonami, I want to say. I didn't see it on Fox or whatever it was on before. Maybe it was on Kids WB or some shit like that before, because it was on something else before Toonami. And I saw it only on Toonami, and I remember it was like a Logtown episode or whatever, and it didn't matter. Like I just watched this shit, and I instantly was like, guy puts sword in his mouth, guy's got lollipop, clown man with hands flying around. No, cancel, done. And just walked out the room, like I'm done with this shit. And fucking then, I don't know. I want to say it was like 2008 or 9 when suggestions and basically me being berated by my sister to watch it. I did it again because she just kept telling me like that wasn't real, that's fake, just wipe that out of your mind. Right. Oh, the other thing too is I bought it was on GameCube, Grand Adventure, one of them, where it was like just a 4-player fighting game, but you can only play as 2 players, but there could be 4 people fighting two computers or whatnot. Yeah. And it was like 3D kind of, and but it was for kids.
I think I remember Grand Battle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Gum Gum Rapid Fire, Gum Gum Blast. This is a weak ass Port Gas D Trace. But
why was he called Trace again?
Because they didn't want to
something about gambling.
It was like a type. Well, Ace was a type of whiskey also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was gambling is what it was, since it was Spade Pirates too.
I'd just like to say here as well that I watched from episode 1 in subbed the way you should.
Yeah.
One Piece dub is trash. Anybody who thinks not, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So it was like maybe 2009, maybe 2010 when I started watching the subs, because that's honestly, I don't think you could find them a lot of places early. Like you could a little earlier than that. My sister was watching it before me, but it was the OG Kaizoku fan subs that were the best shit ever, because they would give you good translation notes. They'd give you translation notes at the beginning and the end of the episodes and shit like that.
And they wouldn't just like every time a concept or a term came up, you would get that translation note. It's not like they did it like the first like 2 or 3 times you saw it and then just like hoped you'd remember throughout the rest of the series. Like no, whenever a word came up, you were getting a translator note for it. So
like it really helps. And I always
was it like hero levels though? Because in the My Hero anime, they
put that shit every time. Much. Yeah, everybody's every time.
Yeah,
but
quirk.
It's only
it was like that though.
Yeah, but it wasn't quirks. That's the thing. It's like you don't need to be reminded of a quirk every time we see the damn character. Yeah, because that is too much. But
it was whenever there was a Japanese word.
Yeah, well, that was hard to translate or untranslatable, and they're gonna leave it in that word and then give you the translator note on what that shit was. Like, especially for like jokes and shit too. Like, because I would every day of the week I would rather, at least try to understand whatever they're joking about, and not just some made up bullshit that they're gonna try to fit in there, with the mouth flaps as some regular American corny ass joke.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll just pass on that. But
right.
Yeah, that's really it. I powered that shit out too. Same thing, binge the shit out of it. Got current, was like when I got current in the anime, it was in Impel Down, I want to say. And
it's a long time ago, man.
Yeah, it's a really long time, like 2010. I feel like I got current in the anime.
So once you got current in Impel Down in the anime, when did you start reading it? How long were you like current week to week on the anime before you decided you were going to start reading it?
So I started reading pretty much immediately. But then I quit for a while at the time skip. I just read through the Marineford arc because there was no way I couldn't. Like I was just too hyped, and I just had to keep reading. And then it was Ace Sabo Luffy time, and I was like, man, that's when Dubs was watching it too, and he was getting current way back then too in the anime. And he was like, man, I just don't think you you're gonna be spoiling the shit for me if you keep reading it. And I was like, whatever, like, and then it got to a part where it was like, Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. It's like, okay, I can leave it alone.
Yeah.
But then time skip was over, and I'm hearing about Fishman Island, and it's like, no, hell
like,
no,
nope,
there's no way, there's no way, like,
I'm
no
back to the
way.
manga now.
Yeah. So,
I also started reading like almost immediately after I caught up on the anime. I'm like, man, I need more of this shit. Because
Yeah,
it was
dude.
Like, I think it was Whole Cake Island it was like when I started reading like right after the Raizo is safe.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you were week to week for a while after, because Zoe is in between Dressrosa and Whole Cake, isn't it? Yeah, for sure.
So one of the first moments I fucking read in the manga, from one of the first chapters I read, was I think the very first chapter I started with was the chapter where they're leaving Zoe. And I remember laughing my fucking ass off at that shit where they're standing on the edge of the elephant and Luffy wraps the whole crew in his arms and they jump off and they're all like, nah! And like everybody, like all the Straw Hats and everybody standing there on the fucking elephant is all like, Nanda-toi!
Yeah. Me myself, it's hard to remember like what I was doing in my life and like in regard to like pop culture, like fandom, because I was still reading manga and I was still watching anime and I was still reading comic books, like, American comic books, like really heavy, but like I can't like, I'm pretty sure this is before even the first manga chat that we ever had, right? Because I don't think we made that until I was caught up in One Piece, but
I don't remember when a manga chat even started.
I know it's because it's been so long, but I just I remember like we would kick it like pretty regularly back at that point, but I was like playing Magic the Gathering a lot, and like like we weren't like as close as we became like probably through One Piece, but I just remember Kiko being like I was talking about anime and I think we were talking about like Naruto and like Bleach and everything like that, and he was like, you got to do One Piece, and I was like, no, because the 4Kids dub, bro. And he's like, no, fuck that, like I know what he's like. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying, and like
we
trust
all
me.
know.
Yeah, like you're like trust me.
Yeah.
Like I would be on the same shit if Trina didn't make me force feed me this shit. So I was like, all right, show me something. I think I said show me something. I can't remember what you showed me. It had to have been. I don't think it was Luffy versus Lucci. I don't think you would have done that for me, but you showed me something that had me like, all right, and like we had like a really long conversation, and I was like, all right, but I'm not gonna watch it, I'm gonna read it. And so I started reading the manga from chapters from Romance Dawn, and I read it all the way through East Blue. I think I got to Arlong Park, and I got like halfway through Arlong Park before I was like, I'm ready to start watching this now. And I started Arlong Park over, and then I saw like Sanji's first fight against Kurobi, and which is just like way cooler to see in the anime, than in the manga. I don't know if you've ever read like Sanji versus Kurobi in the manga, but it's the animation in the anime for some reason is just like done so much better because Kurobi's talking to like his shit, and then you just see the foot like come out of the side of the like you don't get that. I don't think you get that panel in the manga, But yeah, and then from Arlong Park on, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I watched it, and I just remember like having my laptop in bed, like 15, 20 episodes a night, like calling into work, like, you know what I'm saying? Like binging, like showing up late to work, calling into work, like, because I had just been up so late watching One Piece because it was that addicting. So, but yeah, and then I got current. When I got current in the anime, it was Fishman Island. Was where it was in the anime, and then I started reading immediately from that moment. I was like, finally, yes, now I can, I went straight to Manga Panda was the site back then. and when I started reading it, like there were 50 extra chapters, and then it brought me like halfway through Punk Hazard, and then I was like, yep. Before we get into favorite arcs though, like I feel like I kind of want to have a conversation about like the most slept on moments in One Piece, because I feel like not a lot of people like talk about that. That's a really fun conversation, like most underrated moments in One Piece. What do you guys think some underrated One Piece moments are?
Zoro and Sanji in the Groggy Ring.
Yes, bro.
I think not a lot of people talk about that, man, and they're like their ability, or rather, they're like how strong they are when they actually like do work together. Like they ended that shit in 10 seconds, bro. Flat.
Yeah.
They were like, "Yo," Zoro's like, "Yo, cook, lend me a hand for 10 seconds."
Yes.
And he's like, "All right, that sounds like a reasonable length of time."
Yes.
And then with no words, no planning, nothing, they were just like whipped out a fucking sick ass fucking combo move. One of the tightest ones in the series, probably.
I can't remember what their combo move was, because I'm pretty sure Zoro's not using a sword at that point, right?
No,
Yeah,
Zoro was
yeah,
like beating dudes up, and Sanji like
No Toryu.
Sanji like jumped up and kicked the big dude like bow, 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 and then like flash stepped back behind him as he's falling, and fucking anti-manner kick courses him, boom, back up on his fucking feet.
That's
and he's
right.
like, "Nah." And then Zoro, as this is going on, is like flexing, like beating the other two dudes' asses, and then he fucking runs. Sanji is like spinning. Zoro hops on his fucking leg and he launches him.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
He fucking grabs him by the fucking teeth
call
and
that?
fucking Air Jordans his ass into the fucking groggy ring hoop, bro. That shit was tight as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that joint attack. It's probably something crazy.
It's like Air Force or some shit. I don't know, and it's not, but it's like
I don't even think there was a name. I think they just busted that shit
I
out.
thought Sanji does have a name for his when he launches somebody off his leg. I don't think that's the only time he's ever done it. For some reason, I feel like there's another time he did that.
It's not fastball special.
Yeah.
Shout out to X-Men. A really underrated moment for me is in Thriller Bark when and honestly, like, maybe it's not an underrated moment like in the grand scheme of things, but I just don't ever like hear anybody like bring it up or like talk about it. But it's super funny when the zombies like coming out of when they first get to Thriller Bark and the zombies coming out of the grave, and Luffy's like just blank stares him and just like walks up to him and pushes him back into the ground. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Motherfuckers are hype beasts and they only care about like badass moments. That's why.
Yeah, straight up. But I mean, there's just so many hilarious slept on moments in One Piece, and like the zombie comes back out of the ground and Luffy's like, "Oh, so it's just an old man with a really big wound," and the whole crew is like, "It's a fucking zombie."
Like, yo,
how do you not know that?
Yeah. One Piece is hilarious. Like, One Piece is one of the funniest fucking anime mangas there is, period.
Yeah, and you can tell that
zombie comes back up on the ground like, "I'm not gonna!" Like,
yeah.
Luffy's like, "Go back down." He's like, "Why would I?"
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he
just
screamed
like
at his
smart
ass.
zombies. It's like,
and
yeah.
Man, that just makes me want to think of like funny moments. Like,
Well,
I got a serious one too, but I got a funny like one I just thought of is when man, I don't remember exactly. Zoro says something stupid, and fucking like they all make fun of him. And then when it comes to Luffy's turn, he's like "San Toryu," and they're like, "That's not a diss." He's like, "Yon Toryu." I was dead. I was like, you can't think of anything to shit talk him. They all go down the line and call him something stupid,
And he just says the name of his fighting style.
Like Marimo, idiot, whatever.
Yeah. Santoryu.
But no, my moment I was gonna go with is the anime did this so goddamn well is the exchange between Robin and Iceberg. When Iceberg is fucking bleeding out, Robin's laying on top of him with the 4 guns pointed at him, and he's like, just going through like, "You're the devil, you're about to, bring back the ancient weapons." He's like, "But we're in the same boat, aren't we?" And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "I hold the key to a fucking ancient weapon too," and she's like, "What?" Like she doesn't really she's not privy to a lot of the information at the time either. So like, and just the voice acting, I don't know who Iceberg's voice actor is, but I swear to God, it's one of the greatest voice actors ever. Like for that part too, like it was so goddamn good.
Iceberg has an incredible voice,
and it just the tension in that scene, like, man, it had me at the edge of my seat, like probably more so than any time at One Piece, really, where like, because One Piece is so information driven, like the fights are huge, but it's like information, and when big information's being like hit back and forth by people, and they both got like a they're both like, obviously Iceberg's not in control of the situation, but he kind of turns it on him to be like, I am running, you know, like, y'all, Polly is fake. That's not even real, you know, that whole shit, man. Water 7 like is so good, and obviously it's not an underrated arc. It's one of the most talked about arcs. But
I feel like people talk about Enies Lobby like over like Water 7, but honestly, I like Water 7 more than Enies Lobby.
You couldn't have Enies Lobby wouldn't be talked about as much if you didn't have all the hype and build up from Water 7. Like Water 7 set that shit up like it's
that's how
the best setup arc there ever was.
It's definitely the best setup arc in the series, like for like a tandem, you know, like arc, you know what I mean? Like Water 7, you know, in the Enies Lobby. But I feel like whenever people talk about Enies Lobby, they're talking about, you know, Gear Second, or, you know, like Luffy. They're talking about the fights, you know what I mean? Or
Diablo Jumbo, Ashura, you know.
Or they're talking about like, you know, Usopp, you know, Soga King, like shit, you know, or like
shoot the flag down.
I mean, the biggest moment that people talk about, I feel like from Enies Lobby is Robin saying that she wants to live, but it's like, but it's like Water 7
Usopp shot to save her from being taken through the gate at the very end.
That's my favorite Usopp moment, to be honest.
That's the best Usopp moment. Like I don't
especially
know
when Robin's laying there crying too, like she's crying like Nagahana-kun, you know, like people are getting blown away next to her, like
bro.
And you get the hypest music, you know, you're like
yes,
I care about fictional characters.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to like what you were saying about like how like One Piece is like one of the funniest anime ever, I just wanted to say like, and it's genuinely like, you know, like funny. Like it doesn't seem like the humor is injected because the author just feels like we need a humorous moment here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or and it's not, you know, humor that like ever like really fails. You know what I mean? Like you might not bust out laughing, you know, at every single humorous moment in One Piece, but like you can see the humor in it and see that Oda's just a funny ass dude in real life, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes from a place of like, holy shit, this would be funny as hell, not like, okay, we need a comedic moment here. You know what I mean?
For me, it's just random ass moments that are funny. Like I remember they were like descending into Fishman Island at some point, and like shit starts to get kind of crazy, like turbulent, and it's like, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what goes down, but like, because it's just random as hell, but like they're going and like shit gets crazy and like something happens and Frankie just goes like Nanda, and just like the way he says it is like his voice actor's inflection in that situation.
There's a lot of like really
the fuck out of Nanda. I'm like, what the
There's
fuck,
a lot of really like funny moments like that where the voice actors will say something in like a funny way that you like, that they don't usually like say things, like you'll hear a different like side of their voice that you're not used to. There's also like other like really random funny moments. I can't remember what they were arguing about, but like Chopper goes into Heavy Point and like puts like Sanji in like the walls of Jericho like one time. Like holy, like I remember when I was first going through One Piece, and I don't even remember which arc it was in, but I like print screened on my computer and like screenshotted that and then like cropped it and like made it a meme. Because I was like, I gotta have this. Like yeah, man, there's a bunch of super slept on moments. I mean, I feel like another like underrated moment in One Piece is fucking like any scene where like Wiper is doing shit. You know what I mean? In Skypiea, like I feel like Wiper is just like an underrated character.
Skypiea is the most underrated arc.
Wiper was a real one.
Yeah, like no one ever talks about like in Skypiea when they're talking about it. Like I feel like no one ever really talks about how Wiper almost beats Enel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's probably the most underrated fight in the whole story to me.
Kairoseki and the fucking skates on his ass.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Like he's a genius. Like, and he's just such a good, yeah. He's just such a. What are you guys? Okay, what are you guys' favorite like supporting like side characters in One Piece? Like, what are you guys' favorite non-Straw Hat characters in the series?
Damn, that is a question.
I know. Pick from 10,000 characters right now on the spot. Please do it now.
Sorry, it just came to my head. Like I don't think I've ever asked you guys that ever.
Supporting. Oh man.
Well, I mean, you don't have to say like your number one favorite, but like what are like some of your like what are the first ones that come to mind that you're like this is definitely in my upper.
I mean, if Garp counts, I mean, Garp's hilarious,
Yeah,
but
Garp
like,
definitely counts. Yeah.
but it's I don't you.
It's
feels
hard
like
to say
not-
Garp because Garp is everybody's favorite. You know
Garp
what I
is
mean?
like
I
a
know.
main.
Yeah.
But
Garp is the main.
he's my favorite for so many reasons, like the
Yeah.
funny shit too. You know,
Yeah.
him just eating crackers.
Yeah.
You know, like, whatever. Fuck you.
Yeah, he's
But-
definitely one of the funnier characters
but
too. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's not a sufficient answer. You're right. Like I should have a better answer.
I feel like my favorite side character is Kizaru. Because he
Kizaru
has,
smokes 5 blunts before he goes into battle. I
yeah,
know
because
that.
he's literally just like
I don't think he's a side character.
I think that's what he's not any. Then Garp's not a side.
well,
character.
like, okay, well, Eagle, like, what do you think? What's a side character to you?
I already said Eagle. I already said Garp's not a side character. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah, well,
yeah.
what-
See, that's
Right.
fine. That's why I say it's not really.
he plays like a major role in the
yeah,
story.
Garp.
Like,
Oh, so you were talking to Kiko. You weren't talking to me.
no, both of us.
You
Both
don't
of our
think
picks
you don't
are.
think
I don't
Kizaru's
think-
a side
I think
character either?
Kizaru is an admiral. I don't think he's a side character at all.
Well, I mean,
I
like,
think he's-
I think a side character is just anyone who's not a straw hat. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But then there's
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah, but then there's
That's
like,
kind of what I was thinking.
but then
along
there's
those lines.
also like side characters that are so like goated in the series and so like significant to the series in regard to like the role they play in the narrative that it's hard to call them, you know, like like they feel like main characters. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I feel like Garp is one of those, but Kizaru isn't. You know what I mean? Like even though he's like a big name player, like he's not as significant as like a Garp or as like, you know, an Ace, you know, or anything like that. So
I gotta say, well, I thought when you said supporting characters, I thought you meant like people that had helped the Straw Hats or been affiliated with them. But if
oh,
we're just
okay.
going by like anybody that's not a Straw, I would say probably Apu.
Really?
One of my favorite side characters.
He's
A
a
lot
tight
of people
design.
don't-
super tight
a
design.
lot of people don't like Apu,
I
and I
love
have no
Apu.
idea why.
I love Apu.
Because
they
he snaked fucking kid in them. That's
yeah,
why.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he, you know what I'm saying? All's fair in love and war, man, and you got to look out for your own ends.
you gotta
in
get
this-
it how
in
you
this
live.
Yonko.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
you're
gotta
using
get out
sound
of
as an
this Yonko
ability. You should be
society, but-
broken.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro. People don't. I think he is broken.
Yeah.
I think people sleep on how powerful he is because that weaponized sound, bro. That's a motherfucker.
And I just
Yeah.
wish that we had like more information on how his ability works and how it interacts with like characters that use hockey, because like I mean like when he encounters Kizaru, his attacks
If
land.
doesn't
Do any-
Yeah, his attacks
not-
land, but like
not-
they still don't do any damage. So like, can you put hockey on that? And if
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah.
wouldn't it just be Rio at that point?
He got them sound waves with hockey on him.
So, but like
I can't get down with anybody who runs like this.
the red running back to the car.
Oh, but you like, but
Yeah, it's
No,
hard.
what
It's
about
hard
the
he's a
to,
cool
Naruto
guy.
run then?
well,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
hard.
motherfuckers be running weird.
Yeah.
They're still cold.
I mean, like, yeah, Apu is definitely a great character. He's got a really cool design. He's got a really cool
Yeah.
depth. For you can say like you like him. Like, yeah, he's got an amazing voice actor. He's got a great laugh. But like, I just need to know more about how his devil fruit works.
Yeah,
if
I would like to know more as well.
If we knew, like, I feel like he could be in my top 5, like, you know, supporting characters too. Like, if we just had a little bit more information on him, but
Just Wano, baby. We gonna learn. He here.
yeah, I know he is there. Yeah,
Hawkins was my favorite supernova. Like,
yeah, dude.
right from the beginning.
I mean, like,
you know,
Killer
just-
Killer was the most interesting to me, just because like I knew that he would be somebody that like Zoro would have to fight later, and they both seem so ruthless, and they're both, you know, the only non-captain supernovas. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
And
I
Killer's
just-
on par with Zoro.
I mean, not really.
No.
But like
No,
back in
he got-
Shabandi, I was like, holy shit, I want to see these guys fight so bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Zoro just got a power boost though. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to say. Maybe they were equal before he got Rio. You know, like.
yeah,
But
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. Just the fact that when fucking Hawkins is sitting there doing his tarot cards when Kizaru's right in front of him, and he's like, chance of escape 0%, chance of fighting 0%, you know, like chance of delay or something, like defense,
Yeah.
you know, like 33% chance survival. He's like, okay, we got to go with this one,
Yeah.
even though he's calm as hell while he's doing it,
Yeah.
like talking about like I can't do any of this, and then you know, Kizaru's like, ah, Kaido, you ever been kicked that light speed, buddy?
yeah.
How cracked his ass like into the shit, like
What he needs.
Yeah.
Fucking rest in peace, Kizaru's voice actor.
That's
man.
right. I forgot about that. No. So wait,
It'll never be the same.
do we know who it is now?
I don't
He
think
ain't
so.
the same, and he, frankly,
It's
There's
been
no
said
point to
already,
cast
though,
it.
right?
ain't even the
I don't
same.
think so because there's no point to cast it yet. Like
He's
we ain't
garbage.
gonna-
No, he's been in, because he had that little thing where he was in the anime recently when
I think it was in the movie actually. That's
When-
when they redid it, maybe.
no, in the anime he had the thing with where he meets up with Sakazuki, and they're like, oh, those samurai, da 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 da. Like, he asked him if he wants to go. No, I'm tripping.
Yeah, I don't think so. No,
I know he was in the anime
no,
recently.
no. He does ask Sakazuki when Big Mom and Kaido are making an alliance, should I go deal with that? He says that
Yeah.
like he'll go and deal with Big Mom and Kaido by himself, and that was one of the craziest shits ever. And I think
He's not doing that.
No.
he says he's doing that.
He's
And he
not
asked-
doing that.
He asked the Kaido, is like, hey man, you want me to go handle these two? Like they ain't about to do this shit on our watch.
Yeah.
And Kaido's like, no, you can't do that.
I
That's
always
I
like
don't
thought that
know.
Kizaru was the strongest admiral because like how can you not be with a fruit like that?
You got
And I'm
light
pretty sure he's like the
attacks.
oldest one. So like he's got well, I think Isho might be older than him now.
Yeah,
but, like,
now.
yeah, but I mean like it's just
We have
like
no idea
when
about
his character
Kaido.
was introduced, I was like, okay, so experience, fruit, like busted all around. Like this is the strongest fruit that we've seen so far in the series when he's introduced, and I think that is what like all the admirals were meant to do upon their
Yeah.
introduction, because Aokiji's introduction obviously is legendary, and even like Akainu's like you don't even see Akainu until Marineford, and
Mhm.
just like knowing that it's lava is just like.
Yeah.
But then like you think back to it, and it's like, okay, lava versus light. I don't know.
Pretty sure light burns hotter than lava.
Does it?
I don't know.
Oh!
I don't know about all that. Maybe we ain't
I mean,
scientists.
Yeah. I mean that's a quick Google search away, but I mean like I know that. Yeah, I don't know. I know the sun burns hotter than lava, but like light itself, like I don't know. But it's
Depends
definitely
on-
faster than lava.
Yeah.
But I hear people like talk about like though like that he's only really light speed when he's using the Yata no Kagami,
Yeah.
which has a channeling time. So it's like, I don't know, man.
I don't know when he says and he puts the foot like right next to the fucking head and then
Yeah.
it's like that look, sure, we can see it.
You're not
Obviously,
even
they gotta
noticing.
animate
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like you're not even noticing anything like happening until it. Like I don't know. I feel like.
I mean, he asked, "You ever been kicked at light speed before?" Like,
Yeah.
Bow.
Yeah, for sure.
sounds like light to me.
Another one of my favorite side characters that I feel like is super slept on is Paulie. When we see Paulie like in
I
Water
wanted to
7,
see Paul.
and like he reminds me of dude from Final Fantasy 7.
Sid?
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that there, but yeah, he definitely reminded me of Sid when I first saw him, and I was like, holy shit. And then just the fact that he's using ropes and
Mhm.
knots as a weapon was just like so cool to me at the time. I was like, what a cool place they're in right now. Like Water 7 is the best time in One Piece for sure. And we say that all the time, but it's just like that
It-
aesthetic, the
It
jump
really
to HD.
changes the whole shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I never was spoiled on one thing in One Piece ever
Yeah.
because
You're lucky
I
as hell.
watched it and that was that. And when I got to fucking Water 7, that shit hit me so like I was like, the game has changed. It's
Yeah.
officially this is a whole new show. This is
Yeah.
a whole new series right
Right.
now. Like we finally got to where, and that's coming because like, you feel like it has to be coming soon because Skypiea. I'll admit, the first time you go through Skypiea, you're like, man, this is a lot of this other shit in the sky that feels like it's not going to pertain to the rest of the world. And at the time, until you see that Gold Roger was there and you get to see the fucking
Right.
engraving on the poneglyph and the poneglyph, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever. These were a lot of episodes to get to this. And it was, but then you
Yeah.
come down and then you meet Aokiji,
Right.
well, you have I feel like you have the Davy back fight first, and then you meet up.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely have the Davy back fight first. Yeah.
But yeah, when that happens, like you can just feel, especially when just the conversations the Straw Hats have with Aokiji, and how Robin is deathly afraid of him soon as she sees him. Like, oh my God, that's a fucking admiral right there.
Yeah.
And he gets up, he's sleeping, got his eye mask on. That shit is hilarious there. But at first, and then it turns serious as shit. And that's just
that's like one of the most tense moments like in the series up until that point. Like that was like, okay, so like when Mihawk shows up, that's the first time you're like, oh, okay, this can be like a really serious like thing. You know what I mean? But it still doesn't hit as hard as when Aokiji shows up, because obviously he washes the whole crew, but like effortlessly. But like you know, like when Mihawk beats Zoro, you're just like, oh, okay, so that's what the number one swordsman's like. Okay, and then he moves on, and like there's tension there, but like when Aokiji shows up, he's like actually targeting, like a member of the crew in like a permanent way. You know what I mean? And
it's just wild too how he's just like, I just wanted to come make sure for myself that you were with the crew. Like, I don't have any orders to take you in right now. Obviously I should, but like I'm just confirming this is true, that we hear that the Demon Child is with the Straw Hats, or whatever her nickname was. Was it Demon Child or something like that?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty hype shit. This is turn the whole story upside down. Like because Robin, her character itself turns the whole story upside down.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a shame that she's been relegated to virtually nothing, and hopefully,
I know,
obviously we'll get her big moments in the future. But it sucks that they're only infiltration and archaeology.
Guile.
Yeah, like that's it. Like
and she just used to be such a force of nature back in like the day in the story. You know what I mean?
She blew up a ship.
Right. And
how did she blow up a ship?
And we thought
dynamite. I don't know. She probably brought a bomb, bro.
Yeah, buggy bomb that bitch. I don't know, like
something. Yeah. But like it exploded so crazily.
Yeah,
like it was like huge explosion, way bigger than any powder barrel. Like I don't know how the hell
when you fucking got like infinity arms that you could sprout like in your line of sight. He probably has a backpack with a bunch of fucking, I don't fucking know, bro. Just sprouting a ladder of arms and like passing C4 down the fucking.
All she needs to do is have the ship already have the explosives on it, and then just have an eye and a fucking arm sprout there and light that shit and dissipate and boom,
straight up.
Definitely can do it. And that was crazy too. Like that's really like the first turning point for me. Really is the Whiskey Peak. That was like my first big turning point where I was like, I know for a fact I'm going to watch the show forever. Like then throughout the whole East Blue, like I was like, this is tight, but like it's not Naruto choreography fights and stuff. So
right, that's your thinking back then.
Yeah, you're like, we're not there, like but then you start like through Logtown, you see like with the information about Gold Roger and then Dragon and stuff, like that's when you because you start to realize that's what this show is about information payoff. It's not about the fights that are going to be cool, but I mean
the fights don't matter until in order for the fights to be seriously satisfying, you have to know more about the characters involved. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's character not driven, and the fights are good enough, on their own. Yeah, but like when you compare them to like big action series like Bleach and Naruto, they're just not on the same scale. But emotionally,
not only the characters, but like the whole event surrounding it all. Like a lot of times you can't just show somebody a One Piece fight out of context with no information surrounding it, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, that's so tight," or like that hits hard as fuck because it takes the build up, right?
And you can kind of do that now in the series with the animation and like just like
only with the Katakuri fight.
Yeah, that's really the only one that's
like the climax of the Katakuri fight, and they're gonna be like, "Oh god damn!" Like Jesus Christ.
And there's so many moving parts throughout an arc that like it takes so long for these fights to finish because you have to see all the other fights that are going on or all of the other plot points that are going on, like when they cut away from that fight. You know what I mean? So that these fights end up taking like 2.5, 3 hours, I think, was the Rob Lucci and Luffy fight. Like all of it with like all the bullshit cut out, I think was like 2.5, 3 hours.
I don't know if it's that long, but it's definitely
it's a long ass time, bro.
I think it's over an hour, like an hour and 20 minutes or something. But even still,
yeah.
like think about how that's so long. That's literally like I mean 4 or 5 episodes if you just have just straight playing of that fight would be. And
when you cut out all the bullshit, like all the cutaways, it's literally just Rob Lucci throwing Luffy into boxes like 7 times in a row. Like
it's redundant. There's a lot of redundant.
It's super redundant. Like
you're like, well, all right, there's got to be a shortage on these boxes by some point here. They've smashed into a lot of them. Like, when do they run out of boxes in this circle?
Yeah, it's like a small ass room with just infinitely spawning boxes.
Crates,
But there's like so much tight shit that like even before Rob Lucci transforms, like fucking Frankie's trying to run for the door and fucking Lucci just jumps on his back and wraps him up, and then Lucci jumps back and then does Geppo and smashes him into the ground. I was like, okay, we're finally getting to what these fights should be.
You're right. Yeah, the choreography in Luffy versus Lucci is really good. Like there was a time where they're fighting like hand to hand, and like it's not just like throwing a pistol or a Gatling and him dodging and everything like that. It's actually like he's not even using any rubber attacks at all. Like they're literally just squaring up like hand to foot. You know what I mean? There's a couple different times that they do that too, which is super cool. And like, man, when Luffy like goes to like throw like a rifle at Lucci, and he like sidesteps it and like grabs his rifle, and then fucking Shigans like Gatling Shigans at him like yeah, dude,
oh yeah,
that fight's so fucking good, bro. Fucking man, what are we talking about? We're talking about slept on moments, or we're talking about favorite supporting characters. We're just having a One Piece as a whole like just like our favorite things about One Piece. So I guess it's pointless to kind of try to have like any kind of specific structure here, because there's a lot of things that I want to say about the series. Going back to what you were saying about like when Robin was introduced to the story and what it meant for it, one of the best things that Oda is good at doing is introducing mysterious concepts and characters. Like when Robin is introduced, like, and you see that she has her wanted poster is like her as like an 8-year-old girl with 70 million. What is it? 80 million?
79
million. Like instantly you're just like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you think about her character and it's like, okay, she's strong, she's got a broken devil fruit, and she's rolling with Crocodile this whole time. So you're like, okay, it makes sense that she's wanted, but like the longer you think about it, you're like, she's 8 years old in this picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like you think about that in the back of your head until you finally get that information. Like you were saying, it's an information payoff series. And he's just like so good at going like, I bet you people will think about this for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, and he'll set that tone. And I think another one of the best things that Oda does in his storytelling is that I wish that a lot of other authors would take from, but I mean, they're not writing 900, 1,000, 1,200 chapter stories, but it's like he'll introduce a concept or a character very briefly, like very like lightly. You know what I mean? Like it'll say a name. I think I've said this on this channel before, but like they'll say someone's name. Like when there's a like the biggest moments in One Piece are like when someone says some information with like a whole crowd of people watching, right? You know what I mean? There will be like a huge audience, and like some important character or just some character in general will say someone's name, and then the Straw Hats won't know. Like we don't know. We've never heard that name before. The Straw Hats never heard that name before, but everybody else in the scene will be like, "What? Holy shit!" And you're like, "Okay, who is that guy?" And then that's the last you hear of him for 150, 200, 300 chapters. You know what I mean? And then the next time you hear about it, it'll be like in a more controlled setting where like two important characters are having a private conversation. They'll bring up that name again, and you'll get a little bit more information from them. So the intrigue is building and building and building over time, in small like little ways, so that when this character finally shows up, you're like, oh, he's here now. You know what I mean? Like when we finally get Vegapunk, it's going to be crazy, because Vegapunk, I think, was first brought up in Alabasta.
It's amazing how we don't have Vegapunk.
I know, bro. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know even if it was that early, but he definitely came up with the, lasso. Lasso was the gun that ate the dachshund fruit, or Inu fruit model dachshund.
Yeah.
So like that's
And then you're like,
pretty
yeah, and that's
fucking
another
crazy.
concept where you're like, where your mind is blown. You're like, how does an inanimate object eat anything? We still don't have that explanation yet, because now we have that, and then we have Funkfried. You know what I mean? And now it's like I need to know what it's like. Probably some kind of form of like osmosis. Like there's probably a machine that does that.
Yeah,
where it just like absorbs it like into it. I don't think that this sword is opening up a mouth and eating a fruit. It's got to be some kind of absorption or some kind of energy transfer or something.
I want to know what your favorite fight is, like just in general.
In One Piece?
Yeah,
that's a great question. Eagle, go first.
I mean, I can tell you mine because I already have.
Yeah,
mine,
you go
so
first. You go first.
Give you guys time. Honestly, and I feel like it's I got like a tie kind of, but I'll just give the main one is Frankie versus Fukuro. Like,
yeah, I knew that actually.
That's my favorite.
Yes, bro.
Because it has everything. It has comedy. It has seriousness. It has, just like lighthearted parts too. Like it. But some of my favorite shit is just like their interaction while they're fighting. Frankie throws the fucking sideburns at him, triangle jacker, and he's like I'd get hit by shitty sideburns.
Yeah.
And then they, he's Fukuro keeps calling them panties. And then they're like, socks, underwear, panties, stealing on each other, calling himself different, like.
Hell yeah. And Fukuro had such an amazing design, too.
He did.
And, like, his voice actor at the cha-ba-ba, like, is one of my favorite laughs in the whole series, too.
Creepy-ass motherfucker.
Yeah, and then that's the first time you see, like, Frankie Centaur on the side of
No, that's the second time.
Oh, no, because I'm thinking of the Sea Train, obviously.
The Sea Train's the first one.
When he fights that weak-ass Marine, yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's CP9 in training.
CP9 in training guy, Nero, Nero, who can only do 2 or 3 different arts of, Rokushiki.
Mm-hmm.
But, fucking, you get this, the fight over the water, though. It's literally a fight over running water with Frankie and Fukuro, and he's punching him into the water, and he comes, Frankie Butterfly, trying to swim out. Dude, Frankie's just hilarious. Like, Frankie was so much better back then.
Dude, Frankie was so much better. You know who else was so much better back in the day? Fucking Chopper. And, like, Chopper plays his part now, and I was actually just having a conversation with a group of people not too long ago about, like, Chopper's, like, worth in the series, and, like, they were talking about how, like, Chopper is, like, completely useless since the time skip, and it's like, no, he's not. He's not as, like, obviously pre-time skip, they're going to get more focused because you're still coming to know who they are, but I feel like so much time was spent on each member of the crew pre-time skip that now, think about everything that's going on post-time skip, and now, especially now that we're getting into M.A.N.G.A shit, it's like, there's no time in a chapter for us to focus on these characters like significantly, but like they're still there, and that you still know them to the point where anything that they do matters.
Call a doctor useless.
Like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, no matter what, even if he's not like having big fights as much anymore.
Right.
A doctor is the farthest thing from useless on the planet.
And he's not even the
most
least
useful person on the crew.
And he's not even the least used Straw Hat since the time skip. Like right away in Fishman.
It's Robin, probably.
It is Robin. And like, like if you think about like everything Chopper's done, like he was wildly significant in Punk Hazard. He fucking did the blood transfusion in Fishman Island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's done doctor work in Wano even. You know what I mean? Like he still talks to animals when he needs to. Like he's still he's still plenty useless. But like back in like what I wanted to say about Chopper is that like his fights used to be so sick because Kokate Rosio Mattel.
I know.
Bro.
How do you get rid of
Oda? How do we
Oda
not
failed.
get that?
I'm sorry. Oda failed on Frankie's new design and how do you get rid of On Point? Like, are you kidding
bro.
me? How do you get rid of
I try to think of like times where Oda has like genuinely disappointed me, and like the fanboy.
It's
in me
rare,
is, like,
but those are
the fanboy in me is like never.
Yeah.
He wouldn't like.
Yeah.
He's perfect,
Yeah,
you know. And then I think about it, and I'm like, bro, Chopper used to be so sick. Kokute Rosio Metieri. Like he would say it so sick.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
like yes, bro. Like
yeah.
His voice actor used to go so crazy on that too. Like,
yeah, she's great. Her voice is really perfect. Like she does a perfect voice for Chopper.
She just has like, whenever he's
hyped
right, up or angry, like it's like that raspy, like curdling, like in the inflection, like whenever Luffy, like it gets riled up, like it's just like it's just like dude, rip skip Chopper.
Well, and it's still good stuff to talk about, really, because like Chopper and Frankie's fucking interaction in the middle of that fight, where he's like, "Give me cola," and throws the fucking like tea to him. Yeah, fresh, it's a vegetable juice, like, and then Frankie's like, I see that look on your face. Like, what will happen if I give him something else next? If you don't give me fucking cola next, like, you're gonna have a problem.
Yes, bro. Like,
Dear Gorilla. He keeps going, Dear Gorilla. You know.
You don't get Straw Hat interactions like that anymore. That's something that I feel like he could still use now, even in the current story, even though these characters aren't being used that often.
The world's too big.
The world is too big, and there's too much happening. You just like can't, and
Oda needs to get done. It's just true.
Yeah,
like he's got to start wrapping shit up, and he can't be spending time on all that shit anymore. Sad because, I mean, that's what we loved about it through a lot of that time. But yeah, I mean, fuck, man, that fight's so good. Like Frankie gets kicked off the side of the fucking waterfall, and then strong right grabs fucking Fukuro's leg, and he's doing one-legged Geppo to keep him up.
Yeah,
and he's like, I can't hold you. Like that shit was good, and he just keeps doing it. He's like, well, you can't hold us, we're both dead. And then that's the picture I always use too, where he looked at Fukuro's like, it's all good. Once we get back to land, I got a plan to end you. And like Frankie's like, me too. I got a plan to end, and that's that look that I always use too in our group chat, because that's the like, Fukuro-kun, me too. That shit was so. And then you get the fucking cola point blank fucking cannon, whatever. Kuda vent.
Yeah,
that shit was tight.
Kuda vent. Yeah.
Yep. That shit is. That's just hype.
Favorite fight. Eagle, go first.
Why are you trying to force me to go first?
Because I should have spent that whole time thinking, but I didn't. I
didn't tell you what my tie was, and I'll just say it. I was gonna say real quick is Smoker versus Virgo.
Yeah, for sure.
That was such a good fight.
That was so good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For me, I mean, it's either got to be Luffy versus Katakuri or the fight with like Usopp, Chopper, Mr. Four, and Miss Merry Christmas.
Hell yeah, bro.
Usopp gets clapped right in the face with a bat.
Bro, that whole time, like, that's one of the most suspenseful moments in the whole series because he's like, Miss Merry Christmas has him like halfway underground, like zooming towards the baseball bat for literally like 20 minutes, and he
smacks him through walls.
And he's going through walls, and he's like, someone's gonna come in and save him before he gets cracked in the face with his bat. Like, something's gonna happen. He's gonna be fine, and then it's just
he literally got.
And you get to see the X-ray shatter of the skull, and he's floating in the air, doing the Hinata before Hinata. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, man, that's one of the most intense moments.
And then just that speech that Usopp has about Luffy, in his dream when they insult it, that was fucking hype as hell. And then that fight was good shit.
I don't know. I feel like before I say my favorite fight, I should say like my favorite like underrated fight, and it's fucking Nami versus Miss Doublefinger in Alabasta is probably my favorite.
That was a good ass fight.
Underrated fight because like it's the first time that like the Klimattack like is used, and like you're mad because I was because
everybody's.
I was
mad.
like finally
really
I was like finally I can tell Nami's about to do some shit. Let's go. And then the Klimattack is like a joke still, and you're like, God damn it, like when is it gonna, and then she figures it out, you know what I mean, and she starts using mirages and like all of that shit, and it's just like
no, it's not even that. It's this fucking stupid ass fucking two birds that come out on a fucking on the hanger. It's like
when it jokes, when it's still like as a prop, like when it's still being shown as a prop, you're like, I'm like, fuck, dude, like, like what, like, come on, like I thought this was actually going to be a tight weapon, and then she finally figures it out. And Miss Doublefinger's Devil Fruit was like my favorite Devil Fruit up until that point. You know what I mean?
That was ruthless.
Yeah, just like spikes, like, and like her attacks were so cool because she had like a hedgehog attack, then she had like a sea urchin attack. Like the names of her attacks were just like super fucking sick. Like, and I was like, hell yeah, like I love that, like I love this character, I love this interaction, and then she finally starts using like mirages and shit, and then like zaps her dumbass, like. And it's just so good. I love like sneaky. I love how like, and it makes sense with like her character as like a cat burglar that she would use mirages. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was just a great time, in the series for her to get a power up like that. Alabasta is one of my favorite arcs too. But
Oh,
Yeah.
also another one is Luffy and Sanji versus the what the fuck was that priest's name?
Oh yeah, Satori.
Satori.
Yes, bro.
Satori, bro. And then you get that dialogue at the end of the fight from Sanji where he's talking about like grilling meat and fucking tenderizing.
No, first he's
it
like,
and
first
shit.
Satori's
Yo,
like talking
oh.
shit. Satori's talking shit, and then Sanji's like, "Shut up! You're letting the flavor escape."
Yeah.
And then you get the Sanji OST, and he's like
talking about tenderizing meat and shit.
Yeah,
and
and
then
he,
he
like,
hits his
lighting
ass
the
with
cigarette.
that concasse.
That's the first time I think you see that attack. I think that's the first time you see Concasse, and it's like, and then like Luffy like grabs him like with the arms and like wraps him up inside Tori. He's like, "Fuck you, you're stupid! Like, let me go! Like, you guys are idiots!" And then
he's like, "Nah, you're getting your shit conked on, buddy. Watch."
Yeah, and he like jumps off the fucking just the animation for that, like, and it even happens that way in the manga, I think too, where he's just like there, and then it's like, you know, a small explosion effect, and then he's just gone in the next panel. Like,
yeah,
you know, I just think that it's cool that he just like lifted off like that and was just like and like disappeared for a moment in the frame, and then he's all the way up like, and then like when he comes down, like I thought that he killed Satori in that scene because like after he hits him in the head with the concasse, like Gedatsu or like one of the other like priests or something like that was like, Satori's presence is entirely gone. Like he said, like there's like a dialogue there for that, and I was like, he killed that guy. Like,
just broke his fucking neck down.
Right? Like, how do you live through that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, dude, One Piece durability is so crazy. But like,
especially when it's all torso and they got tiny legs.
Hell
like,
yeah.
how do your like legs and ankles and like ligaments not just like turn into dust whenever you? Oh shit. Favorite fight. Whew, man, I still haven't been thinking about it. And it's like I have a couple of that I'm contemplating. But I feel like my favorite fight, if I had a gun to my head, in the entire series is Sanji versus Kurobi, because like this is such a cool fight in the series for me, because I've been waiting to like really see what Sanji could do. You know what I mean?
Well, in the remake in HD,
I like,
really sets it off.
Yeah, it does, but like, and when I saw that, I was hype. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
They added to it.
They added to it. But
wait, what remake? You're talking about
the
episode of East Blue?
Yeah, episode of East Blue. Yeah. So like,
no.
It's not, but like when I think about it, like when I saw that, I was like, hell yeah, this is gas. And then I like thought about it for a second, and I like compared them like side by side, and I was like, no, the original one is still better than this, because when he
underwater shit.
No, because like the underwater shit kind of like happens kind of like for like the in the same way, but like when Sanji finally like starts his attack on Kurobi, it's like just a different like feeling, you know what I mean? Like you don't get the same like foot like into the face and then like into like the half slow-mo and then it like speeds back up. Like you don't get that animation that like really like sets the original one off the same way in the remake, you know what I mean? Like the foot comes out, hits him, and then it like stops the frame for a second, then like, you know, go and then he flies back and like lands on the ground like super quick, and then goes back into slow-mo as he's like lifting off the ground after being hit, and then Sanji's just like stomping him like, you know, like into the like it's just not, I don't think he stomps him out the same way in the remake, you know what I mean? Like it's just that there's different like angles and perspectives used, and like and I just think it's better in the original, but that fight was so huge for me, because I'm like, okay, we're finally seeing what Sanji can do, and then he's just getting manhandled underwater the whole time in ways where it's like you're like,
he shouldn't have survived. It was wild.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's got him like underwater for way too long, first of all.
Yeah.
Then he's getting lower and lower like under, and he's like gasping for air, plus the pressure is getting him, and like you see his like chest start compressing before he even does like the underwater geppo like all the way down that really should have just like taken him out, you know what I mean? When he like shoots down to the bottom and you see his like ribs like going in, I was like and then he like, and he's already been gasping for air, and then like the blood starts coming out too. You're like, oh my god, like this dude, like it sucks, but you know, like he must just not be that strong.
He's out of there.
Yeah, he must just not be, you know, like now we're starting, like I thought I was starting to understand like the hierarchy of like, the crew a little bit more, but then he was just like, nope, bites him in the fucking gills, lets him back up, and then he gets out of the fucking water, and he's like calm. He's not like
blows air into the gills.
Yeah, blows air into the gills. Yeah, but then like when he gets out of the water, like I thought he was gonna be like on the ground, like basically like done for, and someone else would have to come in and like deal with him. But no, he just gets right back up, takes his fucking blazer off, like throws it on the side while Kurobi's talking shit, and then just assaults him. And I was like, fuck yeah. And like Sanji was my favorite character like for the longest time after that, you know what I mean? And then like once we get his fight in like, Alabasta, that was kind of underwhelming. I think that's my least favorite fight. One of my least favorite fights in the series is Sanji versus Bon-Clay.
That shit went hard.
They're spinning on their heads half that fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just breakdance,
No,
like
not.
mirror match kicking. Yeah, I did not like that fight at all, really. But
I didn't love it.
yeah,
I'll just say I didn't love it
Yeah.
either. But Sanji versus Jabura is one of the best fights too. That's the best fight. I feel like that's definitely Sanji's best fight. I mean, even like Sanji versus Luffy, which was really tight. They animated it pretty well.
Well, it's
Tony
like when
did a
has
good
Sanji
job.
had another like full power 1v1 fight?
Yeah, probably not.
That's-
I mean, back in East Blue, but that doesn't count. Again, like I mean,
Yeah.
Kurobi, Gin, he fought Gin on on
On the
Baratie.
Baratie. Yeah.
Yeah,
But like Sanji's only had like one really, really real fight, you know what I mean? So obviously that one's gonna be the best one.
I mean,
Until he gets another one.
Bon Clay's supposed to be a full power fight. Didn't feel like it.
Just felt like a joke. Like I don't know, it was good, and I liked it like thematically, like and like in their diet, like the whole situation was good, and how like he was taking advantage of him not wanting to hit a girl and shit, like and like all that shit was cool, but I don't know, Jayabura definitely takes the cake there by a very large margin for sure.
Yeah,
But-
there's very good animation too right there. You get to see clean kicks to Jabura's
Yes.
face, like real clean ones. Like,
Yes.
and even like when he comes in and just, I don't know, like he kicks him and then like he twirls in the air slow as hell to land, like
Right.
fucking gracefully as shit. And you're like,
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
the animation like techniques used when Sanji fights are just like better, I feel like, than because like with Zoro, like you get a lot of just like still frame. You get a lot of like you get like a lot of still frame, like with loud sounds. You know what I mean? Like he'll just be there. You know what I mean, with his swords out, and the dude has taken damage. You know what I mean, behind him, because like, and I don't know if that's because they're trying to show speed, or if that's just like a samurai animation tactic.
that's
thing.
exactly right.
Yeah, but I mean like, it's just like, man, I just wish that you could like see like just a little bit more. And I mean, you're starting to see it now. Like the farther the story goes, but just like back in that sweet spot of One Piece. And actually, now that I bring it up, it's like I feel like besides Sanji versus Kurobi, my favorite fight is fucking Zoro versus Kaku, because it's like you see that's what he's used the most techniques in one fight.
Yeah,
in
but
that fight.
That fight seemed drawn out.
It was kind of drawn out, yeah, for sure. But I think it was
Like-
just because they were trying to show you everything that Kaku could do with his devil fruit. And
Well, and Kaku had some weird abilities. The one where he
Yeah.
spun in a circle though and did like the 360 Rankaku. That shit was
yes,
tight.
bro, fuck.
But
yeah.
the one where he turns himself into a box and he's like perfect defense, and then he starts swinging his tiny ass hands and legs,
Yeah.
and like little Rankakus are
yeah,
you're like, all right, and then
That's
what was
the
tight
comedy.
though?
See, look,
yeah.
What
nothing.
what happened?
It's
Oh,
hilarious.
Continue.
oh,
But that's it. I mean, that's really it. I mean, it was tight though. He put all the fucking Rankaku on the ceiling, and then they rained down on Zoro. That shit was really good animation, where he's like blocking him for a little bit, and then he stops and just starts taking him. Like
yeah,
that shit was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I don't know, Ashura obviously was massive for Zoro's character too, because like while Luffy was going into like gear second and into gear third in this arc, you're like, okay, well, what does Zoro get? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it until like the last 30 seconds of the fight, or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and ends him, and that's that.
yeah, the whole time I'm sitting there like, I'm like, does he even need a new move? Like by the end, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's badass. But yeah, that was a great question. Favorite fights. All right, let's start talking about best arcs. I think we can start talking about best arcs now.
Yeah, for sure.
Who wants to go first? Should we do like top 2 favorite each? Like for like favorite
Probably.
and then runner up, or should we do like runner
Yeah.
up and then favorite? Let's do runner up and then favorite. What's your second favorite arc?
Me?
Anybody? You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. You've
All
been
right,
telling me to go first.
I know. Let's kick him.
I can go first.
Yeah, you should.
All right.
Why should he?
Because I don't know.
Because I want him to.
I don't.
Go ahead, Nazi.
I don't give a shit. I can go first.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking around.
It's so hard because it's like 1 and 1A for me. You know, like there's almost not a runner up. It's like a tie, but I guess I'll go with Shabandi.
Hell yeah.
Shabandi opens the story up as much as pretty much as much as any arc, because it's like you get admirals that like more than just Aokiji, because we did see Aokiji, but it wasn't the same. Where because Aokiji, he was cool, like he let him go and he was just chill and sleeping, and then you get Robin's backstory, so like that Aokiji already let her go once before too.
Right.
Like Aokiji's clearly different than fucking Kizaru and Aikinu, and it's so when you get Kizaru, that shit is scary, to be honest. Like that's... even though it was like you keep the mood not like that. One Piece doesn't really do that, even though like it's really dark with like you got the fucking human auction, you got Tenryubito, like, you got like a lot of dark concepts introduced on Shabandi, but
that you don't think you're gonna see in One Piece. Like if you would have told me like when I started this fucking series that there were gonna be human auctions later on in the story, I would have been like, what? You know what I mean? Like that was one thing that wasn't spoiled for me when I got a lot spoiled for me when I was going through One Piece the first time. But like Shabandi was a genuinely I didn't know a single thing about it arc, and I think that is why I would say that it's my favorite too. But there's just so much that you get that's so cool. You get the supernovas, which was like the first time that you could see like a collection of Luffy's real competition all in one space. You know what I mean? Which was just like the best introductions for characters in this arc, I think, out of any other arc. You know what I mean?
They all had tight introductions too, because like Drake and Arouge are fighting at the beginning, and like fucking, you got fucking Bonnie mad as hell. Give me more food.
Give me that shit.
Capone's right behind her, like this fucking stupid bitch. Like, like, and you get to see that he's just like, the Don and shit. You're like, shit, we got a Don in this bitch.
And you're sitting there like, who do I want to know more about first?
I know.
You're like, then you have Law. You see Law fight for the first time, and you're like, that's the strongest devil fruit I've ever seen in my life. Like, that's the best devil fruit in the whole series. Like,
who was Killer fighting at the beginning? Killer was fighting somebody right at the beginning too. Like, I don't even remember.
Killer was fighting Arouge.
Yeah, I think it was
Wasn't
Arouge.
he?
Yeah, it was somebody big as fuck. But
Yeah,
I think
then
I
it
might be.
must have
But
been-
I think I might be thinking about him fighting a pacifista though. too.
I thought Drake and Arouge were fighting at the beginning, but maybe not.
Drake stopped it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, I know Drake like jumps into the fight during like when the pacifistas fight, when Arouge fights him. Yeah, so you're probably right.
But yeah, Shabandi, man, like Shabandi was just like so great because like aesthetically, I think that's the coolest looking island that I've seen so far. You know what I mean? You got the bubbles and you got like just like the green, like just like
the 60 mangroves. that are
like
all
just
the,
like all
each
the
own
information.
island.
Yeah, all the information you get about it, you're just like, this is such a fucking cool island. First of all, you get the flying fish, you know what I mean, that motherfuckers are riding on, and then you get like that Sanji and Duval like moment, which is like goated as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Where he's like, so you're why everybody thinks that I look like this. You know what I mean? On his wanted poster, and then he beats him pretty. Like that's so many goated moments, and then Kizaru's
Luffy's
like
first Conqueror's hockey against
yeah.
Duval's bull.
Yes.
That's the first time you see that. Yeah.
Yes.
So that shit's huge.
And then there's like an anime only moment where Zoro uses like Conqueror's hockey like a little bit too, which was like crazy for me. Like in the moment that I found out.
You're sure that's an anime only moment?
I think it is. Yeah, because I definitely read Shabandi in the manga, and I would definitely remember that. If it was in the manga too. I mean, like, don't quote me, but like, I'm pretty sure that's filler.
Yeah, I don't remember. I watched Shabandi. I wasn't current yet.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's filler. But that was just so massive for me at that point because like I was like back then I was like Zoro's stronger than Luffy. You know what I mean? Like all day, every day. Like, like I was one of those. Like Eagles triggered. And he was back then, okay? But Because like, think about it, dude. Before hockey, what the fuck is Luffy gonna do against Zoro, bro?
Knocking his ass out.
No, we already
putting his fucking hands to his chin. That's
I'm sorry. No matter what, Luffy threw Momu into the fucking horizon like Team Rocket. So
that's because of inertia.
Whatever you want. That's the strength to pull a fucking 50-ton fucking monster out of the ground and out of the water and starts spinning.
Yeah, but he threw him as far as he did because he's stretchy, bro. Zoro could probably shot put Momu pretty far too.
Zoro ain't shot putting shit.
But no, man, like just think about it, bro. Like, it's like, man, we already know that Zoro has more stamina and durability than Luffy. So, yeah,
that's all, probably. I mean,
this is after Thriller Bark.
Durability is so hard to say because Luffy's durability is related to his devil fruit a lot of the way.
After taking all that pain, Zoro was laid the fuck up.
But he was conscious.
And he was like severely affected for like multiple arcs after that to where he couldn't.
That's right.
At least Shabandi.
That's right.
And Luffy is just sleeping.
Luffy
that wasn't shit to him. That wasn't shit to him.
But hit all of it. Well, no, all of his pain was gone because.
No. I know that because it got taken out of him. But even still, like you saw Luffy on the ground, like he didn't look like what Zoro looked like. You know, like
that's because he was unconscious.
But he wasn't covered in blood from head to toe, and he wasn't like.
Yeah.
He was just like, you know.
That's because Zoro took it all at once in an attack form. It's a different like slowly over time will probably be a little bit different pluses like devil fruit, but like giving all of the extra amount of damage that someone who's made to take more damage because of his fruit takes, and then putting it in the body of someone who's not rubber is a way bigger deal.
Do you think
plus his own damage?
So this is an underrated moment that nobody ever talks about, but Luffy climbing the fucking ice rock to get Nami healed.
Yes.
Like, that's hard to say that any other character at that time we saw could do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he had Nami and he had Sanji, didn't he? Yeah. He had both of them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, climbing with both of them. One in his
Nami
teeth.
on his back, and he had Sanji in his teeth. Yeah.
In his teeth. Yeah, with his teeth the whole way on the way up.
That's one of the best moments in the entire series for sure.
Luffy's hard body. Like I just could never see it.
What do you guys think was a more significant moment in the series? When Whitebeard says One Piece definitely exists, or when we finally get all their bounties? What moment like we gave like because I know both gave you like goosebumps and chills, and those were huge jaw-dropping moments. But like, which one hit harder?
I mean, the bounties hit harder. That's something that you've been waiting for the whole time.
But like at the end of Marineford, like when Whitebeard is dying and he says, like,
say One Piece
does exist. Yes, bro.
See, more so than that, even
was like Kisama.
But even more so than that, like to me, it was more hype when he said, "You're not the man Roger's waiting for." When he told fucking Blackbeard right in his face, like, somebody will find One Piece, but it ain't you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the man Roger's waiting for. Like, that shit, that was bigger to me than One Piece. Because to me, it's like, I know One Piece exists. Like,
dude, there were so many times where, like, you probably thought, like, what if One Piece is just an idea?
No, Rayleigh said he knows. Rayleigh already told him he knows. Like,
no, everything. He says that he knows what's at. He says he knows what's at the end of the journey.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that One Piece is a physical thing.
No, it doesn't. But it's something worth going to the end of the earth for.
Yeah,
and he would have told Luffy
that could be an intangible thing.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
So, but why does it doesn't matter what it is. One Piece exists, whether it's tangible or intangible.
Yeah. Okay,
it doesn't matter. I always know that there is that treasure there. Or Rayleigh would have told him, like, don't even fucking do it. It's a waste of your time. And that would have been stupid.
I think when Whitebeard says One Piece does exist, it was confirmation that it was something that you could hold. You know what I mean? Like, because
I didn't think that.
Really?
Mm-mm. I never did.
That's what when I saw that, I was like, okay, so One Piece really is like a treasure or like a physical thing or like an actual like something that you can take home with you. You know what I mean? Like I up until that
point,
point,
the fact that Roger never took it with him always to me led me to believe it's not physical. It's not treasure. It's not physical treasure.
You still don't think so?
No, hell no. If it's treasure,
It's treasure, not a treasure chest, but like.
No, let me tell you. No. If it could be anything, it'd be another poneglyph that's gold or a precious metal, whatever is more precious than gold in One Piece world, where it's actually can technically be called a treasure if you wanted to take it with you and sell it, but it's not that. It's what's on it is more important than, because I don't know, and I'm not saying that that's what it is.
Maybe
but that's
it's
the only
just
thing that makes sense to me. That's what I think it is information. Yeah, I always thought it was information. I mean, especially after the new chapters, for sure. Now I really, it's just solidified that it's information, really. But I've always thought it was.
What if it's the origin of devil fruits?
That's always possible. I mean, because
it's about the Void Century for sure.
I feel like I feel like it's got to be something like that. Yeah.
But I feel like some of the other poneglyphs already have that information on it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's tying together whatever the missing pieces are, the missing links, of this whole story, probably.
Going back to best arcs though, because I feel like we said everything that we need to say about Shibandi. I mean, Shibandi was massive because you got like a lot of like really goated moments. One, you get like actual words about what Haki even is, and you get like Rayleigh and some moments that we haven't really talked about from Shibandi that goated are Rayleigh's entire conversation, like you said, with the Straw Hat crew, where he tells them like, "Do you want me to tell you like what's cracking with One Piece?" And Usopp is like, "Yeah," and then Luffy's like, "No." Usopp! Yeah. Like, shut up. Yeah.
Usopp asks directly, and because Rayleigh even says, like, we were just a bunch of pirates. Like, there's no way that we could ever, fully understand what we found. Yeah. Only somebody, a scholar from Ohara, like, you'll find what's really good when you get there. Like, I could tell you what I know, but what I know isn't sufficient.
Ain't the same as being there and seeing it.
Yeah. It's not sufficient. Like whatever Rayleigh would have been able to tell him, which would have been huge and obviously groundbreaking, and Rayleigh does clearly know a lot. It's still
like, you
not
might take
sufficient.
Something different away from it than I did.
Yeah.
It's not sufficient, especially because Robin has all the history, or a lot more history than Roger Pirates did. Even if Odin could read what was on those poneglyphs.
Right, for sure. Other than that, inside of that arc, you got Luffy punching the Celestial Dragon, which obviously has to be when he punches
Zoro about to cut his ass up.
You're
too.
right. I was gonna say that obviously that scene where Luffy hits Carlos is like a lot more. There's a lot more emotional weight there. The animation is crazy because it turns into the fucking "Take on Me" video for like 5 seconds and like goes black and like yeah, and like that's like shit. That shit is obviously incredible, and just like Hachi's character like being reintroduced to the story in a way that you never thought that it would be, which is like one of the moments that like let me know like Oda doesn't forget anything,
hilarious in itself that he's selling takoyaki,
right? Yeah, it's just like
selling fucking octopus,
it's like, yo, chill, bro, fucking. But yeah, man, there's just when Zoro is just like drinking and like walking down the fucking street and Carlos is there like, and he says some shit to Zoro and Zoro's like, what? And goes and Bonnie has to like jump on him. It's just like,
oh, my brother, he's dead. You shot him.
Dude, Shibandi, I feel like it really is the best arc. I mean, but since I don't just want to say Shibandi again, my like runner-up favorite arc is Impel Down, and Impel Down was, it's hard to say that I thoroughly enjoyed it more than in like a Water 7 or an Enies Lobby, but like Impel Down was just nothing but butt clench for like 70 chapters, fam. You know what I mean? Like I never felt higher stakes in the series than in that arc. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you can't fathom a situation where Luffy is going to be able to deal with what he deals with. You know what I mean? And like just the fact that you can't think of how they're gonna make it out until they do. Until like maybe like the episode that they do, or maybe 2 episodes before that, I think is when like they finally get confirmation like this is how we're getting out of here. Up until that point, you're just like, he's going down deeper and deeper in this small space with this dude who you can't even be next to. You know what I mean? Like chasing him the entire time with like guards everywhere, and it's just him and Buggy and Mr. 3, and like You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you're just like no, like like Luffy has to die here. Someone has to show up, but no one's gonna show up because they're in fucking Impel Down. You know what I'm saying? Like Blackbeard is there, but he's not gonna save him. And Blackbeard just got his entire crew just got one-shotted. So like you're literally sitting there like, what is going to happen? Like the entire this is so fucking crazy right now. You know what I mean? And like the characters that you see that could potentially help are like Jinbei, but Jinbei's shackled up. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so like
we got, after it comes out. Level 6 with the level 6 squad, you know.
Yeah. It's just like it would like just because of how high the stakes and the tension were. I feel like I have to make Impel Down my 1A. But my favorite time in the One Piece story is definitely Water 7 and East Lobby, and I like Water 7 more than in East Lobby because it's arguably more emotional with like the Usopp and Luffy altercation. Plus, like, you get, like, that really huge character moment with the Straw Hats inside of the cabin when Zoro is talking to and Sanji are you know, like, beating sense into Luffy because they're finally had enough with his, you know, like, not thinking about things before he does them. Like, in this situation, they're like, look, fam, like, you're our captain. We're ride or die no matter what, but like this is a situation where we're not just gonna let you like do what you want, really. You know what I mean? Like we're going to give you, you know, our words and our insight on how we think that you should do things because you're being stupid as shit in a way that like can really like danger is one thing. If you want to throw us into the fucking, you know, into the wolves den and have us, you know, fight for survival in like a really dangerous part of the world, like we'll follow you through for that. But like when it comes to our like personal like communications with us as a family and you're doing stupid shit, like that's where we draw the line. And it's just like it's just such a massive scene inside of that cabin, you know. And you can see Luffy could have been like, look, fuck all y'all, I don't care what you're saying, this is how I want to run this, you know what I mean? And like it could have been a moment like that, but Luffy was just like genuinely like sitting there like, okay, what do I do? Like I'm listening to you guys, you know what I mean? And it was just like this crazy like intense like emotional moment, and I just feel like Water 7 has more of those like consistently throughout. Like you have Usopp, like, you know, Usopp trying to hold the crew down like by himself at the Frankie house and shit like that, like, you know what I'm saying, like that whole like moment. And there's just so many character interactions that mean so more outside of like an action setting than like in an East Lobby where like it's higher stakes and whatnot, and like you have the world government and shit, and like it's just like big name fights going on everywhere. But like the smaller character moments inside of Water 7 just make it better to me. Plus it's like the first like setting in the series that like really felt like a pirate setting, you know what I mean? Like I got the most pirate vibes from Water 7, I feel like. And maybe it was like the filter that was over the color palette and like the design of like the area that they were in, and like the characters that they were interacting with just felt more like, it just felt more piratey, you know, to me, you know what I mean? So
yeah, Nami rolling up on Usopp, beat the fuck up on the street, you know, and Usopp's crying like, I can't go back and face the crew, like I lost all the money, like that shit was wild. And then fucking she's like, I'll go get help or whatever. And then he gets up and then goes and tries to 1v1 Frankie basically and blows the door off his shit, you know. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that was hype. And then you get the
Frankie house. Rum bum 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 rum bum bum.
It's so hilarious too. Luffy pounds on the door. They open the door. You just see, bow, shot dude right as soon as he opened the door. Like you're like, oh, I mean, you knew what was happening, but
the Frankie house fight, legendary.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
legendary, bro. Like one of the most like ride or die situations in the series. I mean, I feel like in regards to like ride or die moments in the series, I feel like it's tied between like that and like Zoro sacrificing himself with Kuma are probably like the two hypest ride or die moments for me anyway. I mean, like I could think about it more and probably think of some more, but like that's a good question. Do you guys have any other like ride or die moments like inside of the Straw Hat like cruise interactions that you guys can think of that are worth mentioning?
I mean, the first walk with Nami, Nami stabbing himself in the fucking arm trying to get the fucking Arlong tattoo off, you know, like, and Luffy puts the hat on her, you know, like that was huge. That, man, I think that might be one of the first times too where you start to see, I don't know, just other elements. I mean, you get to see those elements kind of before, but I don't know, they never had as much weight as that scene at that time. Yeah. So yeah.
And then huge. Luffy telling Sanji, I can't be Pirate King without you in Whole Cake Island.
Yeah.
damn near brought me to fucking tears too. Like, holy fucking shit, that was such a crazy scene, man. Like, that's kind of like a sucked
Sanji
on.
kicking Usopp to Nami so they could escape from Reno.
Yeah, bro.
That was ride or die.
Yeah. So you could
Yes.
just take the lightning.
And then Sanji like running up on Doflamingo while he was attacking the ship too. And they're all crying, Sanji! Hell yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, man. Eagle, what's your favorite arc?
Am I doing like runner up and then favorite?
Do both,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So my runner up is gonna have to be Arlong Park because
Hell
this is the arc where I feel like whenever I tell anybody getting into One Piece, I'm like, just watch until the end of Arlong Park. And
Right,
if you're not
we
riding
always
by
say
then-
that. I feel like all three of us say that, yeah.
If you're not riding by the end of Arlong Park, then you probably aren't going to be riding because that's when I feel like you truly grasp like what the series is like about.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to like Luffy, his views on friendship and his shit, and then just how the crew's dynamic works as a whole.
Yeah.
Where like Kiko said, you get that fucking dynamic with Nami where she's the whole time telling him pretty much just fuck off on him. You're not gonna,
Yeah.
you can't help me with this. I'm doing this on my own.
Mhm.
Luffy's just like letting her go through it. Just like
Right.
I'm not gonna overstep any bounds,
Yes.
but I'm not leaving because you're my friend. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And then she finally asks him for help, and he's just like, and this is one of my favorite moments in this series, bro. When he just like, she's like, help me, and he just like instantly just puts it on her head and just, like just like, of course I will, you fucking bitch. Finally.
Hell yeah, bro. That
Finally, you ask me.
and then
I
like
was
reading that in
oh,
the
hell
manga
yeah.
is so good too because it's just like
And
him,
right
like-
away-
yeah.
He's just like, Yarudomo, Yuguzo, and they're all like right there, just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're
Yes.
riding on this motherfucker.
You get the don don sound effects, kanji in the background, like or
Yep.
katakana, but
Yeah,
Fuck
two
yeah.
big moments during that fucking arc is Bellmare getting stomped out, her arm stomped on the
man,
ground when
bro.
she's getting stomped out, and then she gets shot right in front of Nami and Nojiko. Like that shit hit.
Yeah.
But then when the Marines come and steal her fucking treasure, like that she was saving up to fucking pay Arlong with too. That's why I'm like, no,
Yeah.
kill this guy right here, like fuck
Dirty
him.
motherfuckers. Like,
Kill this rat bastard with rat fucking whiskers and rat ears.
For
Kill
real.
this motherfucker right now, please. Like I was so mad like during that time. So
yeah,
yeah.
bro.
I was heated. And then at the end of the arc, you get that big climactic moment where Luffy comes up out of the rubble and he's just like, Nami!
Yeah, bro.
What is that, Nakama? And she's like, that shit, man.
Dude, another
And that's
goated.
like, I feel like you really grasp like what the series is about.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. And going into like what you mean by that a little bit is like no matter like how different these personalities are, no matter how they interact with each other or like how they respond to information that they get, the common denominator is like when it really matters, like everyone knows what the other is thinking when it comes to the family dynamic. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like they don't need in moments where it's obvious what needs to happen, there's like not really any words spoken. It's just like Luffy makes a decision and everyone is sitting there expecting it. You know what I mean? Because they just know the way that it fucking goes, you know?
Yeah.
And another goated moment in Arlong Park is when he grabs the fucking what's the name of his sword called? What's the name of his
I can't remember what it's
Kirisame or
called.
something?
yeah,
Kirisame?
Kirisame, I think is what it is.
I
And he
feel
like
like that's what it was.
and
yeah.
they're in that room where not all of Nami's maps are there and shit. And he's
Yeah,
like,
he starts kicking that shit out.
yeah, he
the
starts kicking
window
that shit
and-
around and telling Luffy like, I don't give a fuck about this bitch's maps. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just my tool, my this, my that. And he like puts the Kirisame up to Luffy's like neck, and he's like, oh, I'll kill you right now. And Luffy's like, and grabs it.
He does not. He just like grabs it like
Oh
this.
yeah, he grabs it lightly, and then he just like grabs it, and
He's
Arlong's like, hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on.
no.
Yeah, he's like, hold on,
I can't move it at all.
He's like, wait a minute, wait, what's going on here, bro? Like, and then Luffy's like, nah, Kim. Shit crushes
Shook.
it, and you're just like, yo, bro, yes, dude, Arlong
He
Park.
grabs fucking Arlong's nose and breaks that shit sideways.
Yeah, and then when he grabs Arlong's teeth and puts it in his mouth, Oh,
yeah, it's good stuff.
what's your number one?
For my number one, you know, I've talked about it before, but you know what I'm saying, and both of you probably know it, but it's got to go to Whole Cake Island, man.
Really?
Because yeah, I don't know.
It's
First
a better
Yonko arc.
people give credit for. I swear.
It is a way better arc than people give it credit for.
For sure. Yeah.
It's first Yonko arc. We get fucking, you know, we get to learn about Big Mom and the territory she's got set up where it's like, it's terrifying how like literally the second you sail into her shit, she's on that ass. She's got the snails on you. She detected yo ass, and she's sending the plotters after yo ass
and
to
just learning
lure
about
you
her
in
family too,
and fuck you in the mouth. And bro, like,
she's gonna find your kids and kiss them right on the mouth, you know.
Yeah.
We and just like plot, seeing that she's more of a gangster, like it seems more like an organized crime family.
Yeah,
than even you know, Beige's like outfit,
well, and that's what makes sense that he's rolling with them too. You're like, okay, this feels exactly like par for the course for him, right? Like,
am I watching Goodfellas?
And then you get the Sanji backstory, the actual Sanji backstory in there.
Bro, massive.
About him with the Vinsmoke, which was fucking tight.
Yes.
And like, people give the Vinsmoke a lot of shit because they wanted him to be stronger than they were. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
And I really liked all the Vinsmoke at the end of it. You know, at first they were sons of bitches, but you kind of warmed up to them at the end.
Yeah, and I just love how Reiju, like, I love Reiju's dynamic, like, throughout that while everybody's being a piece of shit, and Reiju's the one that's, like, cool, even though she still, like, owns up to, like, how shitty she was, like, just rolling with them and not sticking up with them. Like, she didn't even do anything, like, serious. I don't even remember her doing anything seriously bad to Sanji in his youth.
No.
But she was just there.
Just laughing with
them and not doing anything about it, you know, and when she's, like, resolved to, like, die along with them because of that, you're just like, shit, bro, like, she's such a fucking cool character,
And then you get the shit with Luffy and Sanji where, like, they got their whole dynamic and they get that fight, the tear-jerking fight, man. And then that speech afterwards, man. Oh, my God. Like Noxie said, that shit hit.
It hits so fucking hard.
The shit with Big Mom, right? She's just a fucking monster. Like, I loved seeing just Yonko flex for the first time, bro. Like, it was... I just feel like weren't appreciative of it enough because they were mad at, like, you know, the Straw Hats getting away easily or this or that, whatever the fuck. But like, this bitch was out here like a motherfucker. Like,
she legit. It was real. It was live as fuck.
It didn't feel easy for me neither. Like, people say easy, like, it didn't feel easy. I didn't think
she was on that ass the whole time.
Well,
no matter what they tried to do.
Hunger pang psycho rage. Like, she ain't even thinking, you know? And like, the kids basically got to be like, work around our crazy fucking mom who's just going to fucking chase these people and destroy anything in her path. And we can't get in her path because we'll die too. And it's like, we got to work around what she's going to do. Yeah. So like, it made sense that it's like, you know, like, you can use that to your advantage, obviously. So
yeah, you know. And it just I feel like was huge in the arc during the wedding was when they're like, what the hell was it? When they're like, oh, you guys get away, the Vinsmoke, we're gonna stay back and be a distraction for you. And like, Caesar flies off with fucking Beje in his hands.
Yeah,
and like they get caught up by what's her name? Fucking. The mirror chick, Brule. She runs into Caesar, and then like Katakuri is on their ass, and he catches him too because he fucking bodies Ichiji. And just like the huge moment for me was that like they came out, Big Mom and like her family just handled that shit. Big Mom bodies fucking Niji and Yonji in an instant, and then she's just like holding his ass up, like, shall we begin the execution? And then that's when that shit was crazy. And then she's just like the Elbaf spear, the shit she was doing, the Zeus and Prometheus shit she was doing.
Yes,
bro.
Yonko feats were massive. And then Brooks' fight with
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, that shit's goated as fuck too.
There's so many. There's really a lot of goated moments. Sanji standing on the table, like, I could let y'all die right now and save them.
Right. with his feet flaming in the Diablo Jamba on the table.
Yeah, standing on the table.
And
like,
yeah,
what?
bro, that
Brooke's
was
speech to Big Mom in the vault room in the anime was hype as fuck.
yes,
Oh
bro.
yeah,
Yes, bro.
yeah. Because
But the
Brooks'
hugest
voice
thing for
actor is
me-
like the best voice actor.
Yeah,
there is.
straight up.
Yes. But the hugest thing for me that makes it my favorite arc, I think, is the Katakuri dynamic with Luffy, where you just like you feel like he is a lot like Luffy, and if he had different circumstances in life, would be somebody who you would like a lot more, and might even be a good character in the series. Where it just makes you hate Big Mom because she, or rather feel for her kids, because like she is literally like birthing them into a life of like servitude
Right.
or die.
Yeah.
You know,
straight
and Katakuri like just has to bite the bullet on it and be what he is for his family, where he might like to be doing something different, you know. So
Yep.
that end moment, I've said it before in a couple different episodes, where it's like when he's like, "Are you gonna come back and beat this bitch?" And Luffy's like, "Fam, I got you.
You know I got. You know what I gotta do, baby.
Yeah, you know what it is. Kaizo Kuoni.
Only
Hell yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Whole Cake Island to go, man.
There's
Yeah,
a couple more. There's a couple more goated moments on there.
Vagabond
Drill. Oh man, Vagabond Drill. The bitch.
Dude, the fucking shark skin too.
Yeah.
Like the shark scene, the shark skin was cool because you're like, okay, so that's like fishman karate, like armament hockey. You know, like obviously is like what it is, but they call it shark skin. You're like, that's fucking cool. What else he's gonna do?
Yeah.
And the Vagabond Drill, dude, in the anime, the Vagabond Drill, and he socks her in the stomach, and her fat is like rippling like up. You know what I'm saying? In the slow mo, dude, that shit's so sick. And then Brooke fucking cutting Zeus in half was massive. Massive. That's one of the best Brooke moments ever, bro. Because you're like,
He said, "Can I see your panties?" She said, "Huh?" He said, "Got it."
yeah.
Jinbei officially getting his title on what he does in the crew
The
is helmsman, and grabs the ropes and fucking leads them through the fucking cyclone fucking tidal wave.
My hand, bro.
Yeah, that is wild. Sulong Carrot.
Bro, Sulong Carrot.
Yes.
Like, there's mad Sulong fucking Peckham's at the end to die for him, to hold him down. Like, Pedro dying. Like, there's a lot of goated.
I feel like
moments
Pedro like might not be dead.
I mean,
Pedro.
he could.
Because,
I mean,
like,
we could get Oda, but he was already going to die anyway.
I can't
That's
even
the
talk
thing.
about why I think that right now. But I'll talk to you guys about it after the episode. But
he was already slated to die, right?
Yeah,
like he was
yeah.
he was basically 80 years old or whatever with all the
Yeah.
life taken from him. So like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
so I couldn't see it, but yeah,
Yeah.
Whole Cake got
Whole
a
Cake
lot
Island
of
is-
huge moments.
Whole Cake Island is just massive, and
I mean,
I don't
you get Tank
understand
Man
why-
and Snake Man.
Yeah, Tank Man and Snake Man, and I
Snake
feel like the
Man,
reason
yeah.
why people say that it sucks is just because they're coming out of like the anime, right? Because the anime like kind of like it just didn't hit
Milks.
the same. It didn't, and it didn't hit the same as the manga and
Just
arcs in the New
One
World just
Piece
don't.
Anime in general
Yeah.
doesn't hit the same. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes Toei does it right, and then
Yeah.
sometimes fucking Toei's got fucking people jerking off in the corner for fucking 45 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
like you're just like waiting for plot points to start happening. You're like, man, what is all this shit? Like, you know,
Yeah.
but that's what happens. Whatever. That's what happens when you got a fucking 960 chapter manga and that you've been running the shit since 1999.
Right,
Like
right.
the anime, like they're either going to do giant filler arcs like Naruto that last for 5 months, which that's
Jesus
probably the better
Christ.
option. That's
Yeah.
probably the better option.
Yeah, I would rather have that than like filler woven in with canon
Because-
shit.
Because that way it's basically seasonal at that point, right? Like
Yeah.
that's probably the better way to go. But
Yeah.
whatever, they choose to stretch, you know, giving you 8-page episodes, not even a full chapter sometimes, and you're like, okay, bet 8 pages is what I get. That's what I tuned in for.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just the difference though between late game One Piece where shit starts to catch up and early to mid game One Piece, because the pacing at early to mid game One Piece is great. Like it's just fun.
Yeah, for sure. And like going back into Whole Cake Island, like another like with like Sanji's like backstory, like, you know, was well done, but it also like I always think back to like how it brings significance to like his old code name that he used on like Little Garden in Alabasta. He called himself Mr. Prince, and like before Whole Cake, you like don't really think about it like that. You're just like, oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Prince because he's like a pretty boy and he's like
Yeah.
you think a whole bunch of shit, but you don't think that he's actually like the son of like a king of a of a nostalgia, you know.
You just think it's a code name at the time, which maybe it was. You know, who knows?
It's just
But
like the
there was like
callbacks in
theories
One Piece are
that
so crazy.
I was just gonna say there's theories that Sanji's dad was the blonde Gorosei and that his brothers were Killer and fucking Bellamy.
Yeah.
You remember that shit, bro?
I remember.
You ever hear those?
I remember people saying that Doflamingo was the son of the blonde Gorosei. I remember.
I heard Sanji was that too.
I never heard that Sanji was, but
yeah,
I heard
he's
both
in
those.
bro.
Yeah, and Bellamy one
That's
I
it.
felt like was short lived, but Killer does have blonde hair under that, you know.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Well,
that's not enough, you know.
Kind of to round off the conversation, because I feel like this has gone on pretty long. But going back to like most underrated arc, I kind of want to have that conversation. I feel like we can all agree that that's Jaya.
Let's go.
Jaya, if you count all of Jaya and Skypiea almost as one thing, because it should be, because Skypiea is, like I said earlier, like when you're going
Well,
through the first
Jaya
time,
by
you're
itself, what's a more underrated arc? If you're just looking at Jaya by
Davy
itself.
back.
the Davy back fight.
Well, okay.
He says Davy back fight.
I guess-
Davy backers, like
Davy backers. What?
you hear that? It's
but-
like-
Davy back.
No, well, I mean, like, okay. Davy back is probably like hated on more than Jaya, because I don't think Jaya is necessarily
Davy
hated
back
on.
fight, and
But I don't
heard
think
people
that the
say they
Davy
all
back
together
fight.
skipped.
I don't think. Yeah, but I don't.
Didn't even read it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I guess it wins for most underrated, but like it's not a like I'm having a hard time.
People
like,
shit on
wording it.
Skypiea the most. I'm sorry, they shit on Skypiea the most.
I
Yeah,
have
but people
never
don't
seen
skip
anybody
Skypiea.
shit on
People do
Skypiea.
skip Skypiea all the time.
Do they?
Yeah, or
I've
quit
never-
at Skypiea.
Oh yeah.
I've never talked to
yeah.
anybody that had shit on Skypiea.
That's wild.
Jaya is Jaya is so good and so important and like
Jaya is great. And I'll
Yeah.
always say episode 151 is the greatest episode of One Piece, single episode of One Piece, and I'll say it forever. And it's
Yeah.
when Bellamy gets one shot, and then you go to fucking Marie-Joie, and you get to see fucking Mihawk on his little fucking ship, looking at both Zoro and fucking Luffy's wanted posters. Like, I knew these were some real men right here. Like, I knew it, you know?
yeah.
And that shit, man, that one episode 151, I swear is the best episode.
But like Jaya was so cool because like it like when I think about like Norland's like story, you know what I mean? And like Oda can just like write entire whole manga plots in like barely, you know, focused on like side character like story, like, you know, stories that they have, you know what I mean? Like Norland's story like could be a whole story. Like a whole like manga, you know what I mean? And it's just like he's just a little character that like he became a little bit more significant like once we got into like Dressrosa, but like it's just here's his story and then like it's just kind of like brushed away. It's like that's elaborate as shit, and there's a lot like to that.
I mean, you get his whole story almost in Skypiea. Him and Calgara, you know, Viper's descendant and all that shit, you know. So
Mombrang Norando.
Yeah, Norland. Yeah. It's just like dude, Jaya. But I guess like what I meant for most underrated is like the best underrated arc. You know what I mean? And I feel
there's
like
a lot of fucking huge moments in Jaya. There's a lot of huge moments. Fucking just the fact.
Davy back fight is not a better arc than Jaya.
Davy back fight is a good ass arc.
Yeah, it's
bro.
good as fuck. Yeah,
there's
it's not better than Jaya.
First of all, you get something that is like hugely important in the pirate world, which is the Davy back fight concept. That's something that like
is it that important if we haven't seen it ever again?
That's what I was gonna say. Like we thought we were gonna see it again.
You gonna see
If
it.
we didn't see it with Roger and Whitebeard, then I don't think we're gonna see it again.
I wanted them to do a Davy back
me
fight.
too, bro.
Y'all already know. I'd have been so mad.
I wanted them to be a Davy
Because
back.
you know that
And then
Davy back
also
fight
for the
would've been
moments in the
better
Davy
than-
back fight. There was
yeah.
some fire moments in the Davy back fight arc. The one with between Zoro and Chopper, where Chopper gets taken away and like he's crying like, oh, I don't want to go on an adventure if it's with anybody else but you. And Zoro's like, hey, motherfucker, shut up, be a man.
Yeah,
And he's like, don't cry about this. We agreed on this shit. And then he like but then at the same time, he resolves himself like, we getting my motherfucking homie back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, the most slept on moment, I think, by a lot of people, that's
Groggy ring.
that groggy ring shit, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
so
also
many
that
things
fucking
wrong.
fight at the end between Foxy and Luffy, that shit was raw.
Yeah, it was good. And that's
That shit
why,
was
and
raw
that's
as
why
hell.
a Roger versus Whitebeard Davy back fight, like Roger Crew versus Whitebeard Crew Davy back fight, would have been dope because the last thing that they did would have had to have been Roger versus Whitebeard 1v1.
Yeah,
And like that's like you're just not gonna get. It's not gonna get better than that. You know what I mean? Like that's and they choose the games, like they choose like the competitions or whatever. It wouldn't have been anything like a Foxy Pirates like Davy back fight. It would have been
So here's the thing.
tight as fuck.
Roger already beat Whitebeard and his whole crew, beat Rock's crew with
Yeah.
just Garp. They 2v5'd, big, or 2v7, big.
Yeah.
Like Roger's already clearly better than Whitebeard. Like that's why it's like I don't
that's-
need no Davy back fight. I needed
just
exactly
need-
what happened. I needed the Davy back fight. To me, it's fun for the time, and I enjoyed it. I won't say that it was bad, but I don't need no more Davy back fight in my life. That we got it. It's done. We moved on. That was great. Good time. We had a
Yeah.
great time with that. That's in the past. But Jaya, I don't know how you could to me because Jaya, there's a couple of tight things after fucking Bellamy comes and whoops the shit out of fucking Mashira and Shoujo and Cricket and fucking Luffy and them come back like, damn, what the fuck happened? And they see fucking Bellamy's fucking logo painted on his ship, and
Yeah.
fucking Cricket's like, no, don't go. And Zoro puts the sword in front of him like this, like, and the dude looks, Cricket looks at Zoro, and Zoro's like, if you want to stop him, you better use this because you can't stop. It's too late,
Yeah.
like, and then Luffy's like, how much time we got,
Yeah.
and runs and then handles that shit. And
Yeah.
what also is tight after that, after the whole shit's said and done, fucking Whitebeard finds Luffy's wanted poster like 100 million. I knew his ambition was too, like 30 million was way too low for a
Yeah.
man of that. And then Sarkis bumps into him and he's like, Sarkis is like, you better get out of my way. I'm in a bad mood. And Blackbeard just grabs him and smashes his face
Yeah,
into the
bro.
ground. You're like,
Yes.
pet. And then you get, the whole
The
crew comes
Blackbeard
together
dialogue,
and
like-
they do their
Yeah,
walk, and you get
yeah.
who each one of them are. Like, I was like, man, that's so hype.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, guys. Yeah, man. I think that about does it for a One Piece conversation for tonight. I mean, we can obviously revisit it in the future, but I feel
There's
like
some
we
good
talked
ass
about it for a minute.
discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. It was cool to see you guys' insight. I mean, like we talk about One Piece all the time, but like we've never like sat down and had like a structured like, what are your favorite this? What are your what's your favorite that? So hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, leave a like. Leave a comment of your favorite One Piece arc, favorite One Piece moment, most slept on One Piece moment, favorite secondary character in the series. What happened? Let's have a conversation in the comment section down here because I'm curious as to how you guys feel about the series and what you love about it, what you hate about it, if anything. Go ahead and subscribe to the Project Manga podcast if you guys are new here. And visit the link tree down in the description. That's where you're going to see, once again, all of us on social media, all of our online communities, and ways to support the podcast if you'd like to. But that's going to do it. I think we'll see you guys next Sunday, I think is when we're coming back for Weekly Shonen Jump coverage. We might have another tie-in episode out before then. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to double check the schedule, but that's going to do it for this little bonus episode for favorite One Piece moments and arcs and characters. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, you guys. I'm Noxie.
It's your boy Kiko.
Eagle, the sleek feathered golden beak god.
We'll catch y'all next